Hi, this is Tom. Welcome to my channel. This is the second of two videos. In this video, I'm going to show how to do the web app that does this math demonstration. So in another video, I went through the math demonstration. Here, I'll just show as quickly as I can what the math demonstration is. And if you're interested in the details, you can look at the other video. The subject on this one is how to build this app. Okay, so the first part of it was talking about this identity on a number line where you take the product of the endpoints and you add the distance from the endpoint to a midpoint squared, you get the midpoint squared. So one endpoint, 3, times the other endpoint, 5, plus the distance from the endpoint to the midpoint squared, 1 squared, gives you the midpoint squared. And if you go to this tab, this shows, let me choose the same one here. Let's see, I'm going to have let me choose, I'll choose this one. So here we've got, this is 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared of the Pythagorean theorem. And it's using the same identity. You've got the boomerang shape is the product of the endpoints. This is the smaller square is the square of the distance from the endpoint to the midpoint, and then the big square is the midpoint squared. Okay, and then here, this is the third. Let me try a nicer number here. So here, this is showing a way that you can do squares in your head. Like if you want to figure out 37 squared in your head, this is showing an easy way to do that by using the same identity. Okay, so that's enough on the math part of this. If you're interested in that, well, you can look at the app and play around with it and figure it out, or you can watch the video where I go through this. But here, this video is about how to build this app. And this is super easy and really, really cool. So I'll just show how I did this by going through the session. So I opened the session with Gemini 3 Pro. So this is normal Gemini 3 Pro. So you can get it, I believe, pretty sure you can get this for free. It just limits your usage. And I just put in Pythagorean triples, so that's the name of my session, so I could find it if I wanted to come back to it. And then I gave it a prompt. I guess this is probably the hardest part of the thing is like, what's this prompt? And so the way that, you can see this is a long prompt, but the way to build the prompt was quite easy. I did this in another session. And that is that I just basically, I explained the idea. I went through with the AI in English. I just explained all of this. So I just explained what my idea was. I said, I've got a number line. I want the numbers to be evenly spaced. I discussed the algebra with the AI. And I went through, I just basically went through the idea. And I went through the idea of this, and that was it, just those two things. And then I asked it, after it had the idea down pat, I didn't ask it to create the web app, but I asked it to create the prompt for the web app. And that's a really good technique to use. And then the reason for that is I could go to any AI to actually build the web application. And I can reuse that prompt whenever I want. So that's how I got the prompt. Okay, so that's the hardest part of this, is to get the prompt. But AI is very easy, is very good at writing prompts. I should say, I mean, the prompt's actually easy. The hard part would be explaining your idea clearly to it in English. So you can't get around that. But if you have an idea and you can explain the idea to it, then you can ask it for a web app based on your idea. And my goodness, you can do anything on this. You could say, like, you know, I want to see the fluid mechanics of, you know, of a river that's going over a water flow. I mean, anything you can think of, it's good enough to build a web app for. So this was actually quite a simple one that I had for the prompt. So I've got the prompt, and then it built the HTML for the web app, which I'm looking at here. And then, okay, so when you're doing it, you can choose Canvas for it to show this thing on the right. So the first thing I did here, it gave me the HTML, and this is a working web app. And you could run this, you could just copy and paste it as a .html file on your local computer, double click on it, and it will work. But I said, can you show it in the Canvas? So it did, that's what this is. And I'm not sure how well this thing moves around. Okay, so I can't show each of the previous steps because it doesn't save all of that in its session. But it's just showing the last one that I did. But it will present a working version in your area. So you can just ask it for a web app, and it will create it for you. You've got the code, if you want the code, or you can just look at the, you can just go through it and just look at it. You don't have to know any development, how to do any development to do this. You just say, here's my idea, give me a web app for it, and just make sure that you put it in the Canvas, and you'll have a web app that you can use. And then the rest of the session was me just tweaking this thing. So I just kind of gradually added to it to get it to be more and more the way that I wanted. So the first prompt, all I had the first prompt was this. And then I added a tab, and then I added a third tab, and I tweaked with like what it was showing and just how to make, you know, how to make it look visually and what sort of options to have on the gizmos. As you can see, I can change the midpoint here, or like if I go here, I can make this 2, see it goes 8, 10, 12, I go here, it was 9, 10, 11, and so forth. So that's what I wanted to show in this video, and then I could do a version 3. This is part 2. I could do a part 3. If there's any interest in this, I'll show how you can deploy the app so that anyone can look at it. So this here is just on your personal computer, but this is on the internet. I'll include the URL to the version that's on the internet, and it's very, very quick to get this from your local computer. Once you have a repository set up. So I'm using GitHub. So once you have your repository set up, in order to do this, it's just maybe 2 minutes. It's very, very quick, to less than 5 for sure. Well, yeah, I should say 5 minutes. It takes 45 seconds to actually build the app, and then however long it takes you to copy and paste the code into the repository. So yeah, probably 2 minutes is possible. So if there's any interest, I can show how to deploy the app. So anyway, that's what I wanted to show this time. Again, I'm going to put the URL to the app here. And also, I think I'll put a link to the math video if you want to see that. Well, thanks for watching, and until next time.